What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, hit that like button while you're at it. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation/reality chat. I waited to talk about this for a moment, and it wasn't that I needed to just kind of get my thoughts together to figure out what my opinion on the situation was. But if you saw the most recent episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, you saw that they had this Blaque business expo, or expo, like Tisha likes to call it. And listen, anyway, I'm not even going to go into that. You already know if you know. Well, listen, Stormi, when they were at the venue to show the team, I guess you would call them, the team of bandits, what this venue was looking like and how the setup was going to be and whatnot, Stormi showed up, and Tisha was just all happy that she said, yeah, I'll do it. I'll set up a booth and I'll be a speaker. And we know that the previous episodes where they were discussing this, there was some back and forth about whether there was going to be payments for people who were going to be on the stage and speaking and presenting on the stage. And Marsau and Tisha were adamant that we're not paying anybody. Now, there may be opportunities for sponsorships. Well, it doesn't look like the event was that organized or even that professional. I'm not saying it didn't look cute, but it seems like it was really thrown together at the last minute. And I talked about that before. So getting sponsors is probably something that was not going to be a realistic thing, especially if they're looking for big time sponsors, because that's something that you need to approach companies about well in advance, not a couple of months before, if that. I don't know how long it was for them to start talking about this to the point of actually having it. Well, listen, when they were at the venue and they were viewing the space, Tisha was just so happy that Stormi said she would do it. She hugged her. It was almost like she was saving them in a way. And in my personal opinion, I felt like she was throwing a little bit of shade towards Melody in a way, because Melody said that she didn't want to do anything. It's just things are just still really fresh, so she didn't want to do anything with the group at this time in that way. But you know, if she's able to stop by, she'll stop by, and she indeed did. And she even complimented the expo. But anyway, even if they didn't do it on camera, don't you think that would have been the time when Stormi agreed to do it? That not even after she agreed to do it, but if there was a vendor fee, which was only $100, that should have been the time to bring that up. But maybe they didn't say it at the time, but paperwork, I'm assuming, was emailed. Nothing was stated about that at all. So when they're doing the setup for this event and Stormi setting up her area, that's another thing too. When it comes to being a vendor, they usually let you know how much the space is that you have. For example, I'm doing a vendor event next weekend for my products, my skincare line. And although I didn't find out about this until kind of the last minute, to be honest with you, it wasn't that they started promoting it. I just found out about it and I decided to sign up and do it. But I inquired about the event. They emailed me the information. They told me how much it was going to be, how much the spaces that you're going to be able to utilize and all of that stuff, right? I got all of that information. So before I could be signed up as a vendor, I had to agree to it, pay the vendor fee, send it on, and then I am confirmed. Why wasn't that done in Stormi's situation? So in my personal opinion, yeah, some people may feel like, oh, she was doing too much. She was doing too much. I don't feel that she was wrong. Everybody has their opinions on how someone speaks or responds. I may not have done it in that way, but somebody may have done it in a way that might have been seen as worse than Stormi's response. Now, they're also on a reality show, so I don't know if the scene where they were supposed to be having brunch and Stormi was going back and forth with Tisha, if that was a bit played up for the sake of TV or being on camera, or, I'm going to solidify my place on the show so that I can be coming back if the show comes back. I don't know. And I'm not saying that that's the case, but it just makes you wonder. But I will say that Tisha decided at the brunch to tell Stormi that she did not appreciate how Stormi came at her husband. But yet she didn't have a problem with Marsau approaching Stormi, because remember, at the venue, when Marsau came in and he wanted to critique and talk about things, it's like, well, one, what are you even doing? And two, why are you coming up to me, meaning Tisha, why are you coming up to me to ask me if Stormi paid her vendor fee? Like, I'm doing a lot of this stuff. Are you helping out? But with Stormi being another female and Tisha and Marsau, they try to act like they are these people that are so about gender roles and what a woman should do and shouldn't do and what a man should do and shouldn't do. If you all feel that way, then why would you, meaning Tisha, have your husband approach Stormi about the vendor fee? Why did you chicken out? Why did you become a coward in that moment and not talk to Stormi about it herself? And I'm not even saying they had to do it on camera. That could have been something that could have been done off camera, but I get it, for the sake of the show and the scene, you do it on camera to see what the reaction's going to be. Okay, cool. But even yet and still, if she didn't like how Stormi was responding to her husband, then why didn't she do it herself? That didn't make any sense to me. And I'm not saying that she had to come at her in a way that was going to be seen as rude or whatever. She could have just joked it off, even if she wanted to try to fake it to try to give herself some grace. And hopefully, Stormi would receive it in that way to say, girl, I had so much going on. We kind of got this together at the last minute. But I forgot to mention there's a $100 vendor fee. You don't have to handle it right now, but I just wanted to let you know, because it seems like that's something that slipped by us and we didn't get that information to you. And maybe it would have been received better, because it wasn't like Stormi was going to skip town over $100. It's like, did y'all need $100 that badly? And Stormi even asked Marsau, like, you need $100 that bad? And he's like, yeah. And I mean, I guess maybe they do. But for Tisha to get upset with Stormi for how she responded to her husband, you can't really get upset with someone when they come at them and then they respond. You may not like it, but you all kind of set yourselves up for that, because in my personal opinion, because they want to be all about these gender roles and what's appropriate for a man and a woman, then Tisha should have talked to Stormi about that herself, not telling her husband, because she wanted her husband to give her the smoke. She wanted her husband to get the heat. She really would have preferred her husband to deal with that, because she didn't want to deal with it. So you got what you asked for. So when Marsau came up to Stormi and Stormi responded to the way that she did, and then Marsau wanted to come to Tisha and tell her how Stormi reacted, well, did you all forget Tisha was like, well, I'm not going to deal with that. You go and tell her that. It was almost like Tisha already knew what was going to happen in that instance. So that's why she sent Marsau, because if she didn't think that it was going to be anything, she would have said something, even if it wasn't right then and there. Period. They could have invoiced her for the $100. She could have sent them a Cash App, a Venmo. Like, $100 is not that big of a deal. It wasn't like it was $100,000. So it was really blown out of proportion. And then, yeah, Stormi may have gotten a little bit aggressive with her at the brunch, but she probably had more time to think about it. And sometimes that does happen. In the moment, you may not get the reaction that some people may give you because you may not be that quick-witted. even though some people may feel like even at that moment when Stormi responded to Marsau, it was a bit aggressive. But I will say that she probably had more time to think about it. And after having more time to think about it, and then they sit down at the brunch, that's even when she got even more upset. So for Tisha to have the nerve to say to Stormi at that point in time, I don't really like how you responded to my husband. It's like, girl, you had your husband even come up to me, for me, was crossing the line. So don't tell me anything about how I responded to your husband, because why couldn't you have said that to me when you were showing me around the venue and showing me where I could set up and all of that stuff? Like, be for real. So I'm sorry. In this instance, in this situation, I definitely don't have a problem with what Stormi said and did, because as you can see in the mid-season trailer, Stormi's husband approached Marsau, which needed to happen. It needs to happen. He needs to be shut down by a real man, because these dudes, they're absolutely ridiculous. The Brokeback Mountain 2.0 niggas, I'm sorry, they really are ridiculous. So I was all here for it. I don't know what's all going to happen in the scene, because we know sometimes they play it up and then it doesn't even pan out to be the way that you're expecting it to be. But yet and still, I can say I appreciate the fact that Courtney said that, because he didn't just say it about his wife. He said, you're always coming at females. Like, that wasn't just about his wife. So I applaud him for that. And then you see in another little clip in the mid-season trailer how Marsau's trying to throw some shade at Courtney, talking about a man that has a business about female hair care products. Nigga, you wish you had that. Do you know how many males have female products? Like, a man created the stilettos. A man created Louboutins. Like, those are some of the smartest businessmen in the world, the ones that cater to women. You know, the Loser Hotel, better known as Arion's baby wife, he tried it when he so-called created the iNest wine. He knew that that was a product that he wanted to market towards women, and that's why he tried to do this little apology tour to talk about how Melody was his 85%, and he screwed it up to go after the 15%, which is the 15% is still out here windmilling on social media and on phone calls for that loser that does not protect her, like she said out of her own mouth. But yeah, he tried it and it didn't work. But I'm saying he had the nerve to try to, and the audacity, the unmitigated gall to try to throw shade at Courtney because he and his wife created a business about female hair care products. You all, in my opinion, are probably struggling right now in a lot of ways, especially dealing in construction. If you look at the news, yeah, when it comes to commercial construction, which is what they say they specialize in, it's struggling right now. I'm not just saying that. It's struggling right now. A lot of people are bailing out in these company rentals because after COVID, a lot of people are working from home now. A lot of office spaces are not being used the way that they used to be. And restaurants are going under because they can't get the staff that they really need to work in them. They're coming and going. It's rough out here right now. So the beauty industry, which is the industry that I have been in for now over 15 years, it's booming. I'm not saying it doesn't have its issues and its struggles, its ups and its downs and things like that. Just like any business, we all deal with that. But yeah, you might be on the wrong team. So for him to sit there and try to throw shade at Courtney, I thought was absolutely ridiculous. And it was hate. It was hate. It was haterade. It definitely was. The same industry that your wife is trying to pop into with these products that are just probably white label products, in my personal opinion, for their children. So don't even go there. But yeah, I have to say that in this situation, I agree with Stormi. Marsau should have never even approached her about that. And so for Tisha to get upset with her about how she responded to her husband, Tisha could have been the boss that she was trying to be in creating that event and just handled it all, but she wanted to cop out and, toss the baton over to Marsau to handle it, because she said, I'm not going to do it. No, you go over there and you handle it. Well, you wanted him to handle it, and he got what he got. So, guys, you can let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.